Care to explain what happened last week?
Do you care to explain what happened last week? Why didn't I go missing? Is it because of the Flintstone vitamins I took when I was 12?
What? No, I have no idea what happened. One day I was here, and then boom, I wasn't anymore.
So you're telling me that you just don't remember, like, transporting to another plane of existence and leaving me alone to host the damn show?
Yes, Owen, that is exactly what I'm saying.
Hello and welcome to The Real Deal, Ball State's premier entertainment news show. I'm your host, Owen DeWeese.
And I'm Gabby Kramer, and I wasn't transported to another plane of existence.
Okay, then what happened?
I don't remember. Why can't you understand that?
Because you left me alone and then Connor O'Connor showed up and started doing some weird things. Do not leave me alone here with him again. He thought I kidnapped you guys. If I were to kidnap you, I wouldn't come back here. I would.
Are you planning on kidnapping us?
Okay, we'll talk about that later.
Okay, but Detective Connor is...
He is not a detective.
He might as well be.
You're sounding just like him.
What do you have against the guy who found us?
Well, he barged into my show and accused me of kidnapping all you guys. Plus, he was really weird and really handsome.
That's another thing we can talk about during this segment.
The highly anticipated sci-fi movie Dune finally hit theaters and HBO Max on October 22nd and 21st respectively. And while the reviews are mixed, the box office views Dune as a great success. Now I'll be honest, I wasn't super excited for Dune. The trailers looked cool, the posters were really beautifully designed, but overall I was just kind of like meh on the movie release. So I was pleasantly surprised when I watched the movie and was disappointed when it was over, despite the 2-hour and 36-minute runtime. To say the movie had me enthralled and intrigued was an understatement. The pacing was steady and the world and culture building kept things interesting, and for a decent part of the movie, I was actually kind of stressed out for the characters. The star-studded cast really brought it all to Dune, and based off the opening card, I'm excited for part 2. Now, Dune isn't without its faults. There are 2 different CGI scenes that kind of looked really fake to me, and Zendaya, despite being a big part of the marketing, was only in the movie for 7 minutes. I also feel like Dune falls into the trap that so many book adaptations fall into, where there are parts of the movie where it feels like we're missing something. Whether this is backstory, internal monologue, additional world building, there are a few parts in the movie where I had a moment of feeling lost or out of the loop, but based on the absolute unit the book is, I understand that is to be expected. Dune quickly became Warner Brothers' biggest opening since the pandemic. Despite being released in theaters and on HBO Max, the movie made $40.1 million in its opening weekend, and I attribute that to the fact that this movie was shot specifically for IMAX theaters and mixed with the cast of Zendaya, Timothée Chalamet, Jason Momoa, Rebecca Ferguson, Oscar Isaac, Dave Bautista, Josh Brolin, and Stellan Skarsgård. It made this movie a hot target for theaters. While reviews are split, with the critic side of Rotten Tomatoes giving the movie a score in the 80s, its audience score currently sits in the 90s, and as usual, I agree with the audience score more than the critic score. So until Marvel's Eternals releases in November, Dune will rule the IMAX theater. We did also get real meme potential from Dune. The line, "so much potential wasted in a mail," ran through Twitter because honestly, yeah. There's tweets for the very hot cast and a few Shrek memes, which I did not see coming but are honestly funny, and the classic Dune but only explaining the plot as memes posts that we also got for movies like Spider-Man Far From Home and Infinity War. Overall, whether you're watching Dune for the sci-fi, the hot cast, or both, I recommend it, and I specifically recommend watching it in IMAX. That's all from me. I'm Jamie Howe.
Thank you for that lovely segment. Now let's get back to the problem at hand.
I heard there was a problem at hand.
Hello, Detective.
Listen, you didn't look at me in the eye when you said that. Can I have your microphone? I'm going to relinquish that.
Yeah, sure.
Take as much time
Sorry, I
as
got what some people would call butter fingers. There you go.
Damn shame. I don't know how to use these things, but either way. I heard someone here. Is your name Owen?
Yeah, you talked to me last week. You know.
I remember who you are. You're the one who made them disappear, is that correct?
No.
Oh.
Incorrect.
Well, thank you for trying to solve this, Detective.
Of course, that's my job. I'm just trying to figure out what psychopath took them, because this is very important.
Well, you should go back and talk to the detective, or the producers then, Detective.
I'll be sure to do that.
That was so mean. He didn't do anything wrong.
He literally just said that he still thought this was my fault. What are you talking about?
I mean, we should just go on to our next segment.
You can't avoid this question.
Hey guys, it's Sarah.
And I'm Courtney, and today we're going to be talking about my favorite holiday, Halloween.
What are you dressing up as Halloween?
Well, my friends and I are doing a group costume this year. We're going as the devil and her 7 deadly sins. So that would include greed, envy, sloth, lust, pride, gluttony, and of course I am going as wrath. So catch me sporting some red lipstick and having fake face tats. How about you, Sarah?
That sounds sick as frick. You gotta send me some photos. I'm going with one of my coworkers as Pete Davidson and Timothy Chalamet from their popular SNL skit. You know, the one that goes, yeet, skirt. I will also be sporting some face tats along with a bright blue wig.
Hell yeah, I love that skit and it cracks me up every time. I just know you're gonna kill it with the blue wig.
Thank you. And I'm also going to see with my friends Rocky Horror Picture Show on Halloween night. This shadow cast is super fun to watch. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. Do you have any plans for the long-anticipated weekend?
Yeah, I do. On Saturday night, my friends and I are going to Spectrum's drag show. It starts at 8 o'clock, and I am super excited. The theme this year is the Addams Family. I've never been to one of Spectrum shows, but I love drag, so I have super high hopes.
I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Have fun for me. And everyone, happy Halloween.
Have a great weekend and stay safe out there. And now we're going to go back to Owen and Gabby in the studio.
I said you couldn't avoid me, Gabby.
What, Owen?
While you were gone, Mary came back.
She did?
Yeah, she came back for like 3 seconds, said something really weird, and started dancing. And it kind of looked like she sacrificed herself for you guys to come back. I think she may have been written off the show.
Like Harrison?
Exactly. It's almost like we're writing off our ghost arc or something.
That's so weird because the ghosts were so fun and quirky.
Yeah, they were a fan favorite, but Mary sacrificed herself for you, and Connor O'Connor had nothing to do with it and is just jealous of my good looks.
I don't think Connor is
Gabby,
jealous.
why was he even here? Why is he still here? He's involved somehow. He's back there talking with them.
You're just paranoid.
You know what? I'm gonna go find out myself right now. Go to the next segment.
First off, I would just like to say that I have spent 4 days locked in my room just watching the new releases on Netflix, and they're all fantastic. First, I watched season 3 of You, and if you are not familiar with that concept of a TV show, honestly, good for you. It's so weird, mainly because it's from the perspective of a stalker, and that kind of makes you root for him in a way. The main character, Joe, of course his name is Joe, does the classic undercover Avenger agent thing where he just wears like a baseball cap and like puts his hoodie up and then he's invisible, because that's how that works, and is never to be spotted by the people that he's stalking, which is just wild to me. And in the most recent season of You, you can see just how messed up he is. He takes things way too far and always manages to find himself in terrible situations that the typical person wouldn't. The second thing that I watched over the 4 days was the newest season of Lock and Key. I have been eagerly awaiting the second season for so long that I can't believe I didn't realize that it dropped until like a week after. And that was only because my dad texted me. So if you guys have been watching the show for a while, you'll know that my dad is a reoccurring character in my movie and TV show life. He constantly recommends me things and is obsessed with Marvel and just genuinely has the same taste that I do, so I'm not complaining. But 2 days ago, he texted me and said, "Hey, Kat, have you seen the new season of Lock and Key yet? I only have 2 seconds left and I'm dying to talk to you about it." To which I responded, "Wait, Lock and Key Season 2 has been released?" And then I immediately threw my phone, grabbed my laptop, and started watching it. And boy, am I glad that I did, because the hype was so worth it. The premise of this show is basically a family has an underlying magic that involves magical keys, and when they use these keys, they give them certain abilities, and there also just like happens to be demons hunting after them, and it's so good. The season like punches through a lot of lost loved ones and death that can affect the whole family, but also bring them together. And I would highly recommend this TV show to anyone who likes just like a touch of magic. Both of these shows are available on Netflix for your viewing pleasure. And when you do watch them, because I know you will, please reach out to me and talk to me about them because I am dying to talk about them. They're both insane, but for completely different reasons. And that is all that I have for you today. I'm Kat. Back to you, Owen and Gabby.
So Owen has gone full crazy.
I have not.
Owen, come here.
There's something weird going on here, and I'm going to figure it out.
Are you okay?
It's that Connor O'Connor dude. He's got something to do with it.
Seriously, dude, he's just a normal guy.
Who LARPs being a detective?
Owen, calm down.
Okay. Hey again, in my segment today, I'm going to be talking about Trailer Park Boys. This is probably my favorite show at the moment, and it follows the lives of 3 protagonists, Julian, Ricky, and Bubbles, and all their get-rich schemes that are definitely illegal, all while trying to avoid attention from the police. To no surprise, the show takes place in a trailer park in Nova Scotia named Sunnyvale, like the shirt. It's a black comedy mockumentary, started in 2001, and it's still going pretty strong today, with a few spin-off shows and a couple of movies. It's kind of unknown in the US, but there's a pretty big fan base, and you guessed it, Canada. The show has a ton of jokes relating to hockey, drugs, and chicken fingers, of all things. What's even better than that? Well, the answer is Rush, of course. Alex Lifeson, Rush's guitarist, has been featured in a couple episodes and one of the movies, if I am not mistaken. The rest of the band also has a couple cameos here and there. The plot is pretty much non-existent, and it's usually just a non-stop loop of committing numerous crimes, running from the cops, and getting arrested, rinse and repeat. Because of that, it's kind of hard to give an in-depth look at the show here. Regardless, despite starting off with very few actors and pretty much no budget, it's one of the greatest shows on the air. And if you like to watch stuff like My Name is Earl, The Office, or This is Spinal Tap, you'll definitely love that too. So be sure to give it a watch. Anyway, that's all I have for today, so I'll give it back to Gabby for her segment.
Thank you, thank you. Hello again, you beautiful humans. It is so good to see you again. I'm so sorry I left you alone with Owen. It'll never happen again. Anywho, as you all know, I am Facebook's biggest fan. Just kidding. But Facebook has once again surfaced in the media and news world. This time, the topic of discussion being the brand's name. Talk has circled about Facebook undergoing a name change. Now, this rebranding is going so much deeper than just getting rid of the household name, but rather Facebook is prepping for what they believe to be the next big thing. This new name, expected to be released on October 28th during an annual Connect conference, is meant to gear the company towards helping build the metaverse. Now, if you're like me and have never heard of this before, the metaverse has been described as an online space where you can interact in a more intense way than regular websites can offer. Basically, if you've ever seen clips of people playing video games with a virtual reality or VR headset on, metaverse is that, but on public websites. CEO of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, believes this virtual realistic adaptation of the internet is the next step in the online world. The company has already begun some work on new equipment users will need, such as virtual reality glasses. Man, I wish this was around when I was a kid. I'm sure Pop Tropica would have been insane, but who knows? If Zuck is right, maybe I can still play it with fancy little glasses that make it feel like I'm in the hot air balloon. Kind of fun.
Awesome job, Gabby. If you want more from us here at The Real Deal, you can check out our Facebook, Twitter, and our website for all things entertainment. I'm your host, Owen DeWeese.
And I'm Gabby Kramer. See you next time on The Real Deal.